In 2023, a man in his 50s receives a phone call to get shocking news. The company that he started almost 3 decades ago had a buyer. The mighty house of Tatas wanted to acquire it for 5,100 crores in an all-cash deal.
Tata Consumer Products is set to acquire 75% in Capital Foods.
I was called an idiot, stupid those days.
But just a few years ago, that same company was about to go bankrupt.
I could have taken an easy route out and said, I'm not paying. Businesses got bankrupt. I didn't do anything. But I took a call saying that I will pay every penny to everyone.
So how did he turn a dying company into the favorite Chinese food of lakhs of Indians across the world? This is the story of the man who put Desi Chinese into every Indian kitchen. Ajay Gupta had made it big in advertising, working for giant brands and making lakhs. But by 1995, he started getting bored with his job. That was when he noticed something that would change his life forever. About 2 centuries ago, in the 1800s, China was burning in wars, political conflicts and poverty. A group of Chinese people from the Hakka community began leaving the country. Some of these Hakka Chinese people followed the ancient Indo-China trade routes and started settling in Calcutta, which was a major port and trade hub back then. Most of them settled in the BigBazaar and Tangra area, which came to be known as Chinatown. While the Hakka Chinese community initially ran small leather and shoes factories, they eventually started selling food as well. But it wasn't the typical food that you get in China. The community had adapted to Indian taste buds, making Chinese food with a Desi twist. But by the 1990s, this food had become so popular that Desi Chinese eateries and stalls had popped up in major cities across India. However, while Ajay was a foodie who loved this Desi Chinese food, his eyes were in disbelief when he saw how it was being prepared. Most of the Chinese food stalls and eateries practiced zero hygiene. Not only were the ingredients of poor quality, but some stalls were cooking right next to the gutters. And that was the only option Indians had. So the same question continued to haunt him for weeks. If Indians love Desi Chinese so much, why can't someone make it affordable, hygienic and take it to every Indian kitchen? And finally, he could not take it anymore. He knew that similar to how Italian food became popular in the US, Desi Chinese would explode in the coming years. And someone had to make it the right way for Indians. So taking the biggest risk of his life, he put in 2.5 crores to set up a factory in Nashik. And he cleverly named his brand Ching Secret, so no one would suspect it's not a Chinese but an Indian brand. Ching's was the only pan-India Desi Chinese brand which sold sauces and noodles in ready-to-use hygienic packaging. But Ajay was no ordinary man. Using years of his advertising experience, he cleverly put a chili in the vinegar bottles and used the unique name Hakka Noodles. So he was instantly set apart from everyone else. And he was confident that Ching's would immediately be a huge hit, taking Desi Chinese to every Indian kitchen. But what happened instead turned out to be his worst nightmare. While Indians loved Desi Chinese, they thought of it as a foreign food that could only be made by restaurants. Everyone was afraid of cooking it on their own at home as they were not sure how to make it and how it would taste. So nobody bought his products. But he did not give up. He started setting up tasting booths outside retail stores where a chef would make Desi Chinese using Ching's products. The idea was to show people how easily they could make delicious dishes at home, and that increased the sales a little bit. But this method of spreading awareness was too slow and difficult to scale. Within 3 years, Ajay's dream project was losing lakhs every month. Things went from bad to worse, and by 2003, Ching Secret was on the verge of bankruptcy. Banks refused to give him more loans, and private investors were unheard of back then. In such a scenario, managing the retail inventory can quickly become one of the biggest challenges. If Ching's did not track the inventory correctly, it could worsen his situation. However, inventory management is a challenge for businesses of all sizes. But Odoo Inventory transforms it into a seamless experience. Odoo is an all-in-one business management software that covers all your business needs, thanks to their suite of 45 plus applications. Odoo Inventory allows you to automate and simplify inventory management and supply chain from manufacturing to delivery. With its easy-to-use dashboards, you can manage receiving, sorting and transferring inventory all in one place. The real game changer is its real-time tracking, which shows the value of items across multiple locations. And with forecasting and automatic replenishment, you will never run out of raw materials. Integrated barcode scanning speeds up quality checks, and smart put-away rules ensure items are stored where they are easiest to access. But here's why it is better than manually sorting your inventory. Odoo offers advanced picking and packing, helping you optimize processes with multiple smart strategies. You can even trace products throughout the chain from purchase to sale, ensuring full transparency. Lastly, reporting helps identify identify pain points such as raw material wastage and inefficiencies. So Odoo will make your inventory more efficient and free up your time, allowing you to do what you are best at, grow your business. Get your first Odoo app for free using the link in the description. Now for Ajay, time was running out and he had to do something. That was when he went into survival mode. He noticed that there was a rising demand for ready-to-eat frozen Indian food abroad in countries like the US and the UK. But exporting these products was not easy. It needed him to spend money on buying the latest machines and get clearance of food safety standards from foreign regulators. So putting in everything he was left with, he set up India's largest ready-to-eat food factory in 2004. It also became the first ever food factory in India with a level A certificate from the British Retail Consortium. Soon he was exporting ready-to-eat rice, frozen samosas, doklas and more. And he finally saw a ray of hope. This idea turned out to be profitable and Ajay was soon making enough money to save Ching's from bankruptcy. And it could not have come at a better time because the very next year his fortunes were about to change forever. The way Indians shopped was about to undergo a massive change. Until the late 1990s, you could only shop at small kirana stores. People told the kirana owner what they wanted and he handed it to them. But by the early 2000s, bigger stores with the supermarket format had started opening. Here, people could discover new things and buy them on impulse. And the biggest of them all was BigBazaar, a phenomena that caused traffic jams in the areas where it opened.
2001 में पहले बिग बाजार के साथ ये रिटेल क्रांति शुरू हुई, जिसने देश के किसी भी अन्य रिटेल से ज्यादा घरों को छुआ है.
And that gave Ajay Gupta a unique idea. Similar to how he used to do cooking sessions in front of retail stores, he organized a giant weekend Chinese mela in front of a BigBazaar store. 16 stalls cooked Desi Chinese dishes using Ching secret items and offered it to hundreds of people for free. His mission remained the same: show people how easy it was to make Desi Chinese in their kitchen with Ching's. And the result was beyond his imagination. The event was a huge success and he sold products for 3 lakh rupees in just a couple of days. But something else happened in that mela which changed Ajay's life forever. The founder of BigBazaar, Kishore Biyani, happened to see the crowd outside the store and he was shocked to see how well Ching's was doing. So he invested 13 crores into his company for a 40% stake and things were never the same after that. Apart from validation from India's retail king and access to BigBazaar shelves, Ajay now had enough money to expand his business.
Ajay Gupta has made $100 million business out of our very love for Desi Chinese with a brand name that rings. Yes, it's Ching's.
But instead of being happy, he started becoming quite worried. By the late 2000s, Desi Chinese food had evolved even further with dishes like fried rice and Hakka noodles becoming favorites. But Ching's was only selling a few sauces and plain Hakka noodles. There was no way he could become the king of Desi Chinese with these basic products. His competition was the thousands of eateries and roadside stalls who were selling favorites like fried rice and Manchurian.
We Indians are compulsive nibblers. Across the country, be it the metros, towns, or even the villages, every nook and cranny, you'll see a bunch of us munching, chomping, and sipping away.
So he had to make products that competed directly with them. To achieve that goal, he used Biyani's money and launched Ching's blended masalas, 10 rupee sachets using which anyone could make Chinese dishes at home in their kitchens with zero extra ingredients. You didn't even need to add salt, and that turned out to be a game changer. While the cheapest fried rice on the streets cost 60 rupees per plate, a housewife could use last night's leftover rice and turn it into fried rice at just 1/6 the price. However, he did not stop there. He also entered the arena of India's king of noodles, Maggi. But he wasn't stupid enough to pick up a direct fight. While Maggi sold masala noodles, Ching stuck to its mission of making Desi Chinese. So its noodles had flavors like Singapore curry, hot garlic and Manchurian. Even Ajay did not expect what came after that. He had finally cracked his decade-old dream. People could finally make Desi Chinese in their kitchen with a single sachet, and that made Ching's an insane hit. Products were flying off the shelves and he was soon doing sales of over 100 crores a year. And then he became unstoppable. He created a dedicated food tasting team who would travel across India to find out their next big recipe. He would spend 15 days a month traveling, sometimes eating at as many as 40 places a day. Restaurants, eateries, roadside stalls. He spared nothing. And in 2013, he found a roadside stall that was selling something called Szechuan dosa, where the man was putting a red mixture on the dosa. Ajay tried the dosa and couldn't believe how great it was. So he immediately bought 200 rupees worth of the mixture in a bottle, took it to his office and made a crazy declaration. Ching's would now be launching a Szechuan chutney, and his employees thought he had gone insane. Combining the Chinese word Szechuan with the Indian chutney sounded ridiculous. Many people in his office laughed off the idea on his face. But in his heart, Ajay knew he was right. Indians have eaten 100 different kinds of chutneys for centuries. So a Szechuan sauce may not work, but a Szechuan chutney would definitely work. That's how Ching's Szechuan chutney was launched in 2013, and the result shocked his employees. People loved Szechuan chutney so much that it became an instant hit. Noodles, sandwiches, biryani, and even dal rice. It was so versatile that it went with any food item and tasted delicious. But Ajay did not stop there. He also launched a range of soups. While the likes of Knorr and Maggi were only selling basic flavors, he launched authentic Desi Chinese soups in 5 different flavors. These back-to-back launches were so successful that Ching's was about to cross 150 crores in annual sales by 2013. But while everyone was incredibly happy about it, Ajay had begun having sleepless nights. While people loved Ching's products and it had a virtual monopoly in Desi Chinese, nobody really recalled it as a brand. It was in every home, but still invisible, be it the shelves of supermarkets or cabinets in kitchens. Brands like Maggi always had the front spot, while Ching's was always hiding at the back, and he had to do something to fix it. That was when he tapped into the advertising wizard inside of him once again, coming up with a plan that would change the fate of Ching's forever. Ajay knew that to distinguish Ching's and ensure people remembered it, he could not do just another ordinary ad film. If you see a field full of ordinary cows, you won't look twice. But if one cow is purple, you'll stop, take notice, take a photo, and maybe even share it with your friends. When something is surprisingly unusual, people naturally notice and share it even if you don't advertise it. That's the purple cow effect. So doing what no one had ever done before, Ajay went to a movie production house instead of an ad agency. Together with Yash Raj Films, he hired Ranveer Singh to become the face of Ching's Secret, whose fun, quirky, and in-your-face personality in real life fit perfectly with the identity of Ching's. And they launched a 3-minute song on YouTube called My Name is Ranveer Ching, written by Gulzar Sir with music by Shankar Ehsan Loy. It introduced the iconic character of Ranveer Ching, and nobody could believe what followed that. The song went viral within a few weeks, getting millions of views on YouTube. People thought it was a trailer of an upcoming movie, so the song was played on radio and TV channels, with some people even turning it into their ringtone. And this ad single-handedly took Ching's to a whole new orbit. Within a year of the song's release, Ching's demand went so high that it tripled its presence in retail stores. But Ajay did not stop there. He kept bringing new ad films featuring Ranveer Ching every 2 years. He had already mastered the taste with his products, and with every ad, Ching's continued to explode in popularity and take their products to even more people. 10 years after the launch of that first song, Ching's had expanded its presence by more than 20 times, reaching 5 lakh stores across India. And then Ajay got the phone call that he never expected. The mighty house of Tatas wanted to buy Ching's. Even though it was his baby and it was a tough choice, he knew that Ching's needed a better home to unleash its full potential. The experienced house of the mighty Tatas felt like the right choice. So the deal was finalized in 2024, and Ajay sold his company to the Tatas for 5,100 crores in an all-cash deal. BigBazaar might have failed, but Kishore Biyani already sold his stake in Ajay's business back in 2014, increasing his investment by over 1,300% to get 180 crores. By focusing on a category that every big brand ignored, doing everything he could to save his company from bankruptcy, and cleverly using the purple cow effect with Ranveer Ching, Ajay Gupta turned 2.5 crores into a 5,000 crore Desi Chinese empire with zero competition. Please hit subscribe if you made it this far. That is very helpful for me. If you like this video, I recommend watching this one next. Until I see you in the next video, goodbye.